Hello everyone and welcome to the Syberia Designs YouTube channel. Today I am introducing you to the Timeless Blooms Celebration product suite from the new Syberia Designs release. We have a new fun layering stamp set. There is a coordinating hot foil plate to bling things up, and there is a coordinating die set that can also absolutely be used on its own. This is that beautiful Timeless Blooms Celebration stamp set. This is a layering stamp set, and you can create a 1/2 of a balloon with it, but of course if you put 2 halves together you have a full one. There are 5 stamp layers to 1/2 of a balloon image, and it's a beautifully detailed set. This is that coordinating hot foil plate. Again, it's 1/2 of a balloon, but of course you can go wild with this flower arch as well. You can create something completely different with it. This is the coordinating die set that can absolutely be used on its own because you have that detail layer in it as well. I am going to start foiling it, and I have first drawn a little pencil line to line up my foil design because there is a coordinating die for just 1/2 of the balloon, so you can just create 2 separate halves and put them together. That is a little bit easier, but I do like the look of them just lined up on one full circle. So I started out by drawing a pencil mark. I lined up the hot foil plate on one side, and then I put some check marks on either side of the hot foil plate as well, so I could line it up horizontally too. And then I just lined it up a second time once the first half was foiled. Now, overfoiling on the edge happens a lot when you have too much foil hanging over your design. So I just trimmed that off, and then I foiled it all again. You can use your markers to color this in, but when there's a layering stamp set available, this is a little bit easier. So I am not going to stamp the full colored background, but I am going to fill in those flowers. And you saw me put a little piece of acetate over this before I lined up my stamp, and there's 2 reasons for it. For layering stamps like this, when you have to use one stamp multiple times, putting a piece of acetate over your design and then lining up the stamp over that, it just helps to not have to clean up your stamp in between or not have to fully clean it off. Because you're not going to get any ink on your piece of paper, you are going to get ink on the acetate, and you can just wipe that off easily. Now, there's a second reason why I used a piece of acetate here with the foiled design in particular. It's because a very new stamp, so if you've used it a couple of times, maybe it's not necessary, but a very new stamp, when you stick it over top of foil and lift it off with your MISTI again, you might lift off some of that foiled design as well, and you don't want that. So to just be careful with your foil, just put a piece of acetate over it before you line up your stamp. There are 5 layers to the stamp set, as I mentioned, but I'm only using 4 here. There is 2 for the flowers and 2 for the leaves, just a full layer for each of them, and then a fun little detail layer for each of them as well. I'm just stamping them in pinks and greens, very simple. I'm going to cut this out, create a circle card out of it, just pop a sentiment on it, and that's done. Now let's show you how that stamp comes together as well, and I do have a little trick for you here. So once again, this is that Timeless Blooms Celebration layering stamp set, and here I have a square piece of cardstock. I cut mine to be 5 by 5, and then I'm going to line up my ruler and just add a line going diagonally from each corner to the next. So just a diagonal cross in the middle, creating a cross section to find the midpoint or the center point of that card panel. And from that center point, I am going to measure out 2 inches on each side of it, but only on one diagonal. So on one diagonal, I am going to measure 2 inches from each side of the other diagonal. I have put a little registration mark on the 2-inch edge there, and that is going to be helping me to line up my half of the balloon here, because once again I want to create one full balloon here. So I have popped that first stamp, the background stamp, right against one of the diagonals and right in between those inch marks here. So this stamp is pretty much exactly 4 inches wide, and it's easy to line it up between those 2-inch marks on that diagonal there. And then you can just flip your cardstock around and stamp the other half, and it's going to line up perfectly. And once you have that first layer done, that background layer done, it's so easy to line up the next ones. And again, once you stamp the flowers once, all you have to do is flip your card panel around and stamp it again on the other side. I'm going to do this for all the other layers as well. I'm going to speed through this, and once I'm done, I will also show you an example that I made with the die cut or the die set as well. Now, on the back of the packaging and pretty much all of the advertising for this product, you can see that most people created this with 2 completely different halves or different colored halves of the balloon, and that is so stunning. So you absolutely don't have to fuss around with this and line it up perfectly in the center and create a full circle. You don't have to, but it's really easy to if you use those diagonals on a square piece of cardstock. So that's the card I created with the layering stamp set, and this is a gatefold card I created with the die set as well. So you have that detail layer, which I used to cut out the flowers from a different colored cardstock as well, and then you have the full halves, which I used to just back the detail layer with some green for the leaves, and that's it. This is that circle card, and those are all the cards I created with this beautiful Timeless Blooms Celebrations product suite. I hope you enjoy these products, and I hope you check them out. All the links are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching.